What's up, guys? It's Maverick here, and today we're watching another episode of Assault-Lily Bouquet. So last episode, we sort of confirmed our theories in that Yuri is indeed an artificial lily, right? Created by the various world governments out of the DNA of Huge in order to utilize the powers of Lily for their own use, right? Because as it turns out, hey, these girls are quite combat capable, and you can utilize their combat abilities in other places rather than just fighting Huge, right? Certainly not exactly any groundbreaking kind of development or anything in terms of plot and so on and so forth, but it makes sense. And well, with the pressure mounting on the school and on Kaede as well, I have a feeling we might actually be fighting against humans first rather than any Huge. It said so. Let's get into the episode and find out. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Seriously, I'm more concerned about you cutting your own hand. Alright. So with that kind of peaceful beginning, now it's all gonna come crashing down in this episode, right? Oh, by the way, I did go and listen to the full opening of this Sacred World by Racist Whelan. I'd say the full song is quite similar to, you pretty much get the entire thing from this excerpt here in the opening. Because sometimes this is a band from Bandori, right? Bandori franchise. Sometimes they have very different. They sound very different. The songs themselves in the various verses and in the refrain as well. In this case, however, I think it's pretty much, all the changes you already see within these 90 seconds. I mean, of course, they do have, like, a breakdown in the middle and all that, but, I feel like I do like the verses and chorus a lot more. Well, thank you for recapping last episode. I like how we also have to have a reintroduction every single episode. How come out of all... We saw many pods there, right? Like lines and lines of pods. How come Yuri is the only one who managed to do any, become a lily? Cosmos. Oh.
がヒュージネストに異常接近していたことも確認されたわ。ネストから発せられるマギを利用しようとしたのでしょう。船はヒュージの襲撃で沈み、
A huge attack!
発見することなく失われたけど、一つだけ残ったのが。だけど、皆さんだって知ってるはずです。ユリちゃん、私たちと何にも変わらないって。リリー、怒ってる。おどきなさい、リリさん。ユリちゃんをどうするんですか？ゲヘナとブランギニョルは引き渡しを求めています。引き渡されたらユリちゃんはどうなるんです？人間としては扱われないでしょうね。なんでそんなこと。リリー、ユリちゃんはどうしたい？昨日はリリやユユやみんなと競技会できてすごく楽しかった。
Literally a day later, eh?
私ずっとみんなと一緒に。
Alright, they're going rogue. Infighting, so I guess not exactly fighting against other humans, but infighting between lilies. Is you gonna take them on?
リリー、悲しい匂いがする。ごめんね、私もう泣かないから。リリさん、
Yep.
逃げたなんてこと。ユリを学院で保護すべきです。
Oh, that was quick.
私には思いません。
Or is that a flashback to before?
リュウジと同じマギを操るリリーもまた一つ間違えば脅威と捉えられかねん。それだけは絶対に避けねばならん。現在防衛軍の部隊がこの学院に迫っている。人とリリーが争う事態は絶対に避けねばならんのだ。
私ずっとみんなと一緒にいたい。リリーを恐れる人たちは皆怯えているのでしょう。私たちが自由に生きることを願うのはそんなことでしょうか。どうするんですか、どうするんですか。ユリちゃんがヒュージでリリさんと一緒に逃げて逮捕命令って。どうする？そんなの決まってますよ。だってユリちゃんがヒュージのはずないじゃないですか。リリさんは間違ってないですよ。だけど学院から逃げた。
What if all what if all lilies are huge?
私はブーステッドリリーだ。昔ゲヘナに体中をいじくり回された。
ブーステッド
Boosted lily.
リリーの能力を人工的に強化しようという試みです。
ユリが丘に保護されてやっと抜け出せた。ゲヘナは嫌いだ。信用できない。
出動よ。リリには逮捕命令、ユリには捕獲命令が出たわ。二人を追います。それは何のためです？一つ柳隊はどの追っ手よりも早く二人を探し出し保護します。これは副隊長としての私の判断です。意義のあるものは従わなくて構いません。それって学院からの指示とは違うよな。指示は学院ではなく政府から出たものです。だけど私たちはリリーよ。リリーがリリーを守るのは当たり前のことでしょう。
I have a feeling the president is also going to, basically not give their fullest in pursuing them. It's basically like, as an official stance, we disapprove of this, but we're not gonna do anything.
この件ではさぞ苦労をかけたと思う。だが会社のことに口を出すのはたとえお前でも。
お父様が許すか許さないかは関係ありません。このままでは私がお父様を一生許せなくなります。
私はお前のような娘たちが戦わなくて済むようになるなぁとそれを受け入れた。
チャームメーカーの総帥とは思えないお言葉ですね。その志には感銘を禁じ得ませんが、お父様は間違っています。実験は失敗ですわ。だってあの子、私たちと何も変わりませんもの。結局どこかに傷つくリリーがいることに変わりはありません。
True.
お願いです、お父様。私に自分の運命を恨むような惨めな思いをさせないでください。マギを持ちリリーになったことも、お父様の娘に生まれたことも。
So I guess in the end, the manufacturer might pull out.
どこ行ってた？
ほんの野暮用ですわ。マイたちはリリとユリにつく。楓は、残念ですわ。リリさんをお助けする栄光を私の独り占めにできないなんて。今回の件、楓さんは何かご存知ではないのですか？たとえ知っていたとしても、私には関係ないことですわ。そっか。じゃ、決まりじゃな。ここどこ？多分ヒューズに襲われて放棄。
So as I said, are we actually going to get a human versus Lily conflict in this episode? I wonder though.
そんなこと言っちゃダメ。ダメだよ。そんなこと言っちゃ。ごめん、リリ、泣かないで。私もまたみんなに会いたい。
本日早朝に捕獲命令を出したヒュージを百合ヶ丘のリリーが連れ出し逃亡したという報告が複数寄せられている。事実です。今は彼女たちの身を
Yeah.
守るべく作為を挙げて対応中です。
彼女たち逃亡したリリー1名とヒュージ一体だ。気をつけたまえ。マギという得体の知れない力に操られるヒュージ、それに対抗するリリーもマギを操るという点で潜在的な脅威になり得ると危険視されている。今さらリリー脅威論を蒸し返されたくはないだろう。
何か言い分は？彼女たちの願いはただ自由に生きたい、それだけです。
いや失礼。そりゃ誰だってそうでしょう。そうは言ってもですよ、マギを扱えるのが人類にとってリリーだけなら、彼女たちにかかる負担というのもそういうものだと納得できませんか？
コンビニなんて久しぶりだわ。浮かれないでよ。私たち追跡に夢中なんだよ。
So these are the ones pursuing?
デザート2つも買ってるよ。
Of course, it would make sense that they probably don't want to take this too seriously.
リリーにも出動要請が出たそうですね。防衛軍だけじゃなくてよそのガーデンまで？
Other gardens?
はっ
Huh.
きりしてみたいんだけど、私たちはどっちにつく？どっち？それって命令に従わないこともあるということ？百合ヶ丘じゃなくて政府から出てる命令でしょ？怒られません？私は自分で見て感じたものを信じたい。おかしいかな。一つ間違えば人とリリーとリリー同士の戦いになりかねませんよ。ならないよ。私たちはリリーでしょ。敵はヒュージだけ。まあリリーには状況に応じた判断を下す権限が与えられてはいるけど、そのための訓練だって受けてるみたい。
Well, if like humans go
私たちにとって今大事なのってユリは人かヒュージ
and point arms at you guys, yeah, there would be conflict.
ユリさんは人かヒュージか。せーの、人。
失礼だが理事長代行は話をそらしておられるようだ。
年派もいかぬ娘たちを戦いの矢面に差し出すのです。我々が何のために戦っているのか。
I don't think now is the time to appeal to their emotions, dude.
この時勢にもかかわらず破格の待遇を許している。何のためか明白だ。ましてヒュージをかばうリリーなどあってはならん存在だ。
怪物と対峙する者は気をつけねばならない。自らもまた怪物になってしまわぬように。さよう、我々も肝に銘じるべきでしょうな。失礼。新しい報告が入ったようだ。
はじめまして。百合ヶ丘女学院交渉科2年の真島萌也です。マギに関する論文は昨年だけで51。その界隈では週刊萌ゆって呼ばれてますね。
おゆくん。
おっと失礼しました。いきなり結論ですが、ゆりちゃんは人です。ヒュージじゃありません。はい、論拠ですね。ゆりちゃんのゲノムを解析した結果、99.9% の精度で人と一致しました。
100% ではないのだな。
はい、もちろんです。100% の人というのは存在しません。だって私とあなた同じですか？違いますよね。みんな違うんです。多様性の獲得こそが生命の生存戦略の根幹だから、ゲノムは日々更新されています。だから違って当たり前。私もあなたも 99.9% の人なんですよ。
だがヒュージだ。
それなんですが、遺伝子的に人であると認められたものは由来の遺憾を問わず人とみなすという国際条約が20年も前に施行されているんです。倫理的に不適当な研究が横行した時期ですね。もちろん我が国も批准してます。去年ですけど。
ヒュージはヒュージだ。例外などない。
ちなみにヒュージ由来の遺伝子はゆりちゃんが人化した時点で機能を喪失していることが確認されました。なんとこれは今回の当事者でもあるグランギニョ
So that's what they're doing.
いやー、これがなかったらあと1日はかかってたでしょうね。
So Kaide's dad did decide to help in the end.
ゆりちゃんは人です。
ならば彼女はリリーということでもありますな。命令違反は捕獲命令自体に根拠がなかったということです。撤回してもよろしいですかね。我々の処置は適切だった。事実が明らかでなかったので
Come on, he's giving you guys a way to save face. Just accept it and move on, dude.
ゆりくんがリリーと分かった以上、前例にのっとり彼女の身は当学院で保護するものとします。
Check and mate.
全米万歳だな。
いつまでここにいる？リリー。わかんない。勢いで出てきちゃったけど。逃げなさい、リリー。西に無人になった町があるわ。今は時間を稼いで。私が必ず迎えに行くから。大丈夫。ここにいればお姉様やみんながきっと来てくれるから。ヒュージって私に似てるのかな？え、そんな全然違うよ。でも私ヒュージなんでしょ？違うよ。ゆりちゃんはゆりちゃんだし、普通の女の子だよ。じゃあもし私がヒュージのところに行っても、そこにも居場所はないんだね。
Join the huge.
なりたくてこんな風に生まれたわけじゃないんだけどな。リリもそんな風に思うことある？
Yeah, nobody is.
お姉様みたいにサラサラ。
Nobody can make the decision to be born,
いつも優しくてかっこいい。
or how they are born,
なんとか。
or what they are born into.
じゃあきっとユユはユユに生まれて幸せだね。ごめん。何にもならなくていいよ。ゆりちゃんはゆりちゃんのままでいい。でもね、リリがゆりって名付けてくれたから私はゆりになったんだよ。それは私とっても嬉しい。大丈夫。帰る場所はきっとあるよ。みんなが作ってくれるから。ええ、一緒に帰りましょう。お姉様、みんな。
Have you guys got the news yet? Yeah, okay.
ユリは人間でリリーと認められた。もう大丈夫よ。リリさんとの逃亡劇を少しは期待していたのに、もうおしまいですの？リリの逮捕命令も撤回されたぞ。よかったな。逮捕？そんなことになってたんですか？あれ？でもどうしてここが？ああ、
Oh. This is the Rogue forces? Wait, what? They're still moving. Oh. Huge attack. Okay. Now we got... Wait. Wasn't that the thing that was flying around there? We're suddenly getting some Evangelion vibes here. Now, if the angels and whatnot. Damn. Because they're evolving as well. Whew. Okay. So Yuri can basically copy everyone's abilities. Ooh. Huh. How are you going to dodge? Right, so just take... Whew. Damn. She is OP. So, where'd Yuri go? Where'd Lily go? What? So they're saying she's... Yuri's just gone like that? Really? I... Oh, is this... Is this Yuri's theme song? I would think so. Yeah, Yuri. So this is Yuri's theme song. Hmm. Is she seriously just going to be gone like that? Like, honestly, that came out of nowhere. Well, see you guys after this. Well, that certainly came out of nowhere. I did not expect for this series to actually take a slightly dark turn, or darker turn, I guess you could say, with Yuri sacrificing herself. Now, then again, I'm not sure if this is exactly a series where the sacrifice is going to be permanent. Right. There's various ways that they could utilize this. It could be very well just a temporary thing, and then maybe they'll eventually revitalize her from, huge remnants or something like that. That's one thing. And it's not even entirely clear if she was exactly eviscerated within the explosion or whatnot. Maybe she's just, I don't know, she's just been knocked to some other place, right? Or maybe even taken hostage by the huge or whatnot. But potentially this could also be one of those series where Yuri is going to be permanently dead, and it's going to result in like a major turning point for Lily and major character growth for her. It can go either of these possibilities, but it's, I hate to say this, but these are the kinds of events that really drive this series forward, right? Regardless if Yuri eventually does become revitalized and brought back to life or not. We are on episode 9, so we got like 3 episodes left until the end. What exactly does this mean for the rest of the series, right? And I do like this sort of, again, I want to look at this from not a emotional standpoint, right, but more from okay, I want to really enjoy this anime kind of standpoint. So for the sake of the series, for the sake of entertainment, if you will, I would like for these things to happen so that they can bring some actual drama, bring some actual how can I say this, bring some actual meaning to the series, instead of everything just being, hey, we're all happy and fluffy and all that, which is fine by itself, but this is the kind of thing that gives a story depth. Now, with that being said, however, I do have to say I feel like the execution was rather rushed. Now, it is a common complaint I have about anime, not only for those with adapted works from light novels or mangas, but even for original works such as this one as well. I do feel like they rushed the entire thing because they were actually touching on some very, very interesting concepts, and it's not exactly anything new, but it had the potential to be utilized very good and make this series like a much deeper franchise than just basically looking at looking at girls fooling around and with a dash of Yuri and a dash of cool battle animation within it, right? So the 2 parts I'm talking about is, number 1, the story of conflict between humans and lilies and huge, this sort of triangle conflict that we have here, and the second one is the entire meaning of Yuri's character and how she basically is struggling to find a place where she should belong, right? So for the former, well, actually, let's talk a little bit about the latter first. Let's talk a little about Yuri first, because in essence, what this episode is about and what Yuri's character is entirely about is it's basically saying, okay, so she's kind of a huge, kind of a lily, but we're not really sure who she is, so she doesn't belong on either side, right? So she's struggling to find where exactly she should belong, because it seems to her that she doesn't quite belong with the huge, and yet she doesn't quite belong with the lilies either. And indeed, the entire reason I feel that at the end she decided to rush up ahead and take on the huge by herself is because she wanted to prove not only to Lily but also all the others that yes, she is actually a lily, right? And lilies are supposed to fight huge, right? So she's basically saying, hey, look at me, I can fight huge as well, will you guys accept me as a Lily now? So that's in essence what that is, right? And it's been done before, this kind of setting and whatnot, but I do feel like for this one, it was still a lot more rushed than I would have liked it to be. They had a chance to make this really, really emotional and really sad, right? And the same thing with the entire human and Lily and huge conflict as well, because that is a very legitimate threat that they are thinking of and they are talking about, right? And I would have loved actually if this threat actually manifested itself into an actual conflict. So here's my, again, take this considering this is just my opinion and whatnot, right? But here's how I feel like this would have made this entire arc, I guess you could say, like 10 times better. So really give it at least 2 episodes of time to do all this, including from the initial conflict that we're given between humans and Lilies and Huge, and the distrust for Lilies and so on and so forth, and give some time to build it up, and also actually make the conflict happen, actually make humans, normal humans, start fighting against Lilies, and indeed even for Lilies to have a sort of civil war as well, those that stand on the side of the government authorities and those that are going rogue and saying that, hey, we Lilies have to stay together and all that. You can either make it a lot darker or maybe not as dark, depending on how far you want to take the conflict and if there are actually any casualties that result from all of this. That is something that we can adjust and whatnot. But I really would have liked to see this conflict actually come to be, and for the situation to really turn into the worst case scenario here. Now, I'm not saying, then again, to be fair, it could still happen in the future, right? We still got 3 episodes left, and by all means, it doesn't seem that this sort of conflict here, or potential conflict here, has been resolved in any sort of way. So it could still happen. But I'm just saying, like, for instance, for this particular arc with Yuri in it, right? So let them start this infighting and whatnot, and instead of the government bodies eventually accepting that, yes, Yuri is a Lily, and so they should probably pull back and not do this anymore, erase all that and just let this continue on, and for Yuri to still, because I feel like in that instance, it would also make a lot more sense for Yuri to continuously have this sort of self-doubt as to whether or not she's actually should join the Huge or should join the Lilies, right? And I think that if this actual conflict came to be, it would put more pressure onto her and make her actions here of eventually deciding to fight the Huge by herself all that more logical and justified, right? Because in this one, we can kind of try to explain all this that happened, right? Again, we can infer that this is probably what she was thinking, and we can also sort of kind of guess that, say, okay, maybe this is a Huge that is really, really threatening the academy and really threatening the city and all that, because it's a new type that they've never done before, but they haven't even really tried anything yet. Do you guys know what I mean? So they didn't really even try to take it down through conventional means or through what they did before and whatnot. So it didn't really have to come to a conclusion that Yuri would have to take this on all by herself, right? So again, imagine the scenario I was thinking of. So we got the humans and Lilies fighting against each other, and Lilies split into 2 factions as well, battling against each other, and then all of a sudden this Huge manifests itself, right? This Huge that nobody has seen before, spurting capabilities that nobody knows, and sure, probably a truce is called at that point so that they can all concentrate on fighting the Huge, and then they realize that, hey, I can't, they can't really penetrate its defenses or whatnot, and we're about to enter a situation where the entire city, the entire academy is going to be destroyed by its magi weapon or whatnot. And then Yuri steps up and basically decides to take it down all by herself in order to prove that she is of the Lily. She is on the side of the Lilies, that she's an actual Lily, and also bring an end to this entire conflict between humans and Lilies and all that, right? And then just as she is doing all that, and we can have the scenes where Lily is trying to save her as well, and then failing in doing so because she's actually not as adept at combat as Yuri actually is. And then during the entire final battle scene where she's taking down the Huge, play her theme song, playing the theme song that we just heard from the ending here, where if you look at the lyrics, it's literally directly talking about her situation, right? Like being born, but being born in this type of very awkward situation where, is it a blessing, is it a curse, etc., etc. But then, for her deciding to make the most out of it, treasuring her time with the lilies and all that, and eventually sacrificing herself for the sake of, proving that she's a lily, and also to end this conflict between lilies and between humans and all that. Like, honestly, to me, right? Again, this is just my opinion, but if they had actually done a story as grand and as well paced and well filled as this, I would have given it at least a 9 out of 10 for the entire series, right? So I'm just saying, I feel like they touched on some really interesting topics here, but they didn't really push it to the limits. Now, of course, you could argue, hey, at the end of the day, Yuri did still sacrifice herself, right? And sure, you can say that the end result is the same, but I'm just saying that from an impact point of view, it doesn't really impact at least me as much as it could have. And I feel that that's really it's really disappointing and a missed opportunity in a way, because they got all the aspects here, they got all the elements in here. All they needed to do was to put a little bit more time and effort into developing this particular arc and this particular storyline, and we would have had a pretty epic story here, right? Now, with that being said, as I said, we still got 3 episodes till the end, so I'm not exactly sure where exactly they're going to take the story, or indeed, I guess perhaps for this franchise, they don't really want to make it that dark, right? It could be a case where they are eventually going to bring Yuri back as well, and then, this is more of a feel-good, fluffy kind of franchise, right? And if that's the case, then I could totally understand why they wouldn't go for that sort of grand sacrifice, that type of huge emotional development. But I'm just saying, that would have been really awesome if that were actually true. But anyways, that's pretty much all I want to say for this episode. I mean, the specifics of the episode itself, I don't think we really need to get into and all that. Yeah, let's just see how exactly they decide to continue the series, right? So, again, at this point, I would probably actually prefer they bring her back and whatnot, just to say that, okay, yeah, this series is not exactly trying to go for that kind of dark storyline or whatnot. So in that case, I would be a lot more placated in that they did not miss an opportunity, but instead this wasn't really an opportunity to begin with, because that's not what the franchise is about. Hopefully that made sense to you guys, but hey, what do you guys think about this? And what do you guys consider about my proposal for all of this? It's just for fun, right? It's just for fun. Anyways, thank you guys, and I will see you guys next week as well. Bye bye.